So Snowden McFall, owner of Fired Up Professional Speaking and Coaching, is here to help us find the joy. Snowden, thanks for coming on again this week.
Happy to be here.
You know, I don't think we always think about it. And we're on social media. Everybody's laughing. Everyone's partying. I mean, there's a point where, you know, some folks, they're not experiencing that.
That's right. And one of my closest friends lost her husband a few months ago. And so it's not a happy season for her.
Yeah,
so,
and we talked about it when you were on during the 9 a.m. hour. I had a friend last night and we were talking and she gave me the date, the beginning and the end of her sadness.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really kind of, and I did say, I was like, well, if you're planning for that date to come, then that also could help to fuel the sadness. So
that's right.
It's hard though, because when it comes, you just got to work through it.
You do. And also a lot of people get anxiety and panic attacks this time of year. So you want a cool technique for dealing with that?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so this comes from Milton Erickson's daughter. He's a famous psychologist. So in this one, you use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique.
Okay.
And so there's 5 things that you can see if you're getting stressed out. Like you look for 5 different things you can see.
Right.
You look for 4 things that you can touch.
Okay. So even if it's your hair or your skin, your velvet coat.
That's right. That's right. 3 things you can hear. I can hear your voice. I can hear the sound of the fans. 2 things you can smell. Maybe I can smell your perfume. And 1 thing you can taste.
Okay.
And that instantly just grounds you.
Why is that?
Because it grounds you and gets you back into your body, your senses. When we go into panic attacks and anxiety, we're off thinking negative thoughts. You need to just ground back into physicality.
Right, and then you start to kind of feel, okay, I'm safe.
Yeah,
this is an environment that I can control to some extent. And you are taking control.
That's right.
And you're deciding to go down a different path.
And you're putting your focus, what you focus on manifests. So you're getting right here and right now.
All right, can we do this one? You did this at 9?
Sure,
because I like that. That seemed to work immediately.
Yeah, this is a positive intelligence technique, and it's where you touch your hands together and you feel what the temperature and the texture of your hands is and the width and depth of your palm, and you're focusing on sensation rather than thinking out of the left side of your brain, and you're moving into the sage, the right side of your brain. And you can do this with lots of things. You can do a visual positive intelligence rep where you're focusing on the face of another person that you're with. So I'm seeing your beautiful hair and your necklace and your gorgeous jacket. So those are all different things. I'm out of the left side of think, worry, worry. I'm into feel, the sensation.
When you really truly understand our brain and how it works,
it's amazing.
I mean, you can control your life so much more instead of just being like, oh, cortisol, I'm crazy, like everything's nuts.
You can shift.
Yeah.
You can shift.
One thing that I know that I try to do most mornings is just a few minutes of meditation. And you even said before you came out today, you did that.
I absolutely did that. I was in the waiting room and I was doing some meditation. That's a great way to de-stress. And then you also want to think about different things you can do when you're taking care of yourself in terms of prayer, in terms of sleep, in terms of all the ways that you can make sure that you set boundaries. That's really important too.
Which is intentional, because that self-care piece, if you don't do it, you will not do it. Like if you don't make it part of your day, like going to work or having a meal, like just kind of maybe pair those things together.
That's right. And also gratitude. Gratitude brings you immediately into your heart, makes you much more expansive.
Can you walk us through that? Because we say that a lot, like just be thankful. Like, but if you are feeling bad, you may not be thankful right this second.
Well, here's the research out of Harvard, The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. He did all this research and he found that if you think of 3 things you're grateful for every day, and I do this at night, I write down 3 things every night that I'm grateful for, new things. Your brain actively looks for things to be grateful for during the day, and your heart gets more expansive, and it creates greater happiness and joy, and that's one of the big things for the holidays. And for people who are especially lonely, you want to make sure also that they move into that gratitude and joy, and also take care of themselves. I was with a group this morning. I stopped at a coffee shop on my way here early, and there was a group of moms. And you know what they were doing? They were sharing quotes, inspiring quotes. And I was listening to it,
I know
and
you were probably like,
that.
hey girls,
I
with you.
I wanted to. I didn't want to interrupt their flow, but it was so cool. So you got to not isolate yourself. When
you know, I love that you said that, because I think what's also important is that we surround ourselves with like-minded people.
Yes.
What I notice is that sometimes somebody can just take you down with them.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes you have to walk away and get those groups of girls or whoever that really do bring you joy. I find sometimes kids, like you'll see me at the kid table.
Yeah, me too. I love hanging with the kids. Yeah. And also when you're talking about joy, finding the joy this time of the year, find those moments, you know, like right now, this is an ornament that one of my nephews gave me. I have, as you know, 22, 23 nieces and nephews. And this is one from him, and he said, Aunt Snowden family is the heart of the holiday. And I put this on my tree every year, and it touches me. So find little things. You know, the Arboretum has those glowing gardens. It's a beautiful way to just find the joy in the moment. What do you remember?
Well, I was going to say just with the ornament, because you asked me to bring it, which I forgot, sorry. But I remember as a kid, we had these mouse ornaments, right? And there were like 4 of them. Some would be chopping down the tree, the other might be in the kitchen. I can't remember what they all were doing, but there were 4 of them, and we used to fight over who would hang the ornament, but it was all joy, you know. And then we decided the one cutting the tree would be at the top because they climbed the hill, or they were coming down after chopping the tree. And I just remember that being such a light and fun time that every year we pulled those things out, and it was special. So I try to create those memories with the kids, you know, because
so important.
That'll stick with you for life.
Well, and it's those moments, you know, when you take the moments to really focus in on the joy of the season and the reason for the season, and you touch back into your heart, then you're out of the worry and anxiety and your present moment.
Yeah, I'm going to go off script because I feel like you can talk about anything. But I am curious because, you know, I think sometimes people will say things like, you know, I'm not feeling my best today. I kind of want to sit in it for a minute. I know I can pull myself out of it. That's probably okay too, right? I mean, just even having the awareness of it.
Well, and that's good emotional intelligence, right? Is knowing how we are, having self-awareness and acknowledging that. I remember taking a seminar where they said, how long do you want to take this pit stop in hell? Ooh, okay, well, if you want to be there for a couple hours, I'm going to the movies. I'll be back, you know, but you give yourself time, and then you stop, and then you focus in on the good. But you don't want to dwell on that, particularly for the lonely people, for the people who are having trouble this season. Don't dwell on that. Focus on the good. Spend time around people who uplift you. Focus on the good. Don't isolate yourself. Get out there and volunteer. Give back to other people. That's one of the best ways, because it shows you what you can be grateful for.
Yeah, and there's so many opportunities now to do that.
Right now, you can make a huge difference.
I have this, my mom and I, we go back and forth because she's 83 and she's 7 minutes from me, so I can always get to her, but she has her low moments. But even as a daughter, I have to kind of listen and be there for her, and then I try to build her back up, and some days she doesn't want to hear it. But then some days she's open to it.
That's true. You know, and that happens, and that's okay. You let people be where they are, but just don't let them be down too long. You also noted, you know, make some different traditions, you know, things that then will become your thing every single year. That's right. And whether it's painting, you know, those little plaster ornaments you get at the craft store, or whether it's reading a new story to each other, or whether it's going together to go look at lights, driving around looking at lights this time of year, just having new traditions that work for you. And they don't have to cost anything.
They don't have to be expensive,
No.
You know, something else, I remember this in college because my friend group kind of fell out, and I felt very lonely. But then I realized once I started talking to other people, they were lonely too. You know, so I do think if you're listening to this and you're feeling isolated, you're feeling like you're the only one out there. I mean, the number we gave, 67% of people feel stressed. 2 out of 5 would skip the holidays altogether.
That's right.
I mean, that sounds crazy to me, but that lets you know that there are a lot of people that may be right where you are. So talk about it. You know, sometimes you can find the right person that'll lift you up, and you weren't even anticipating that.
And you can be the person who lifts them up. You can just go to the person next to you in the grocery store line and smile and say, how you doing today? And just tell them how nice they look and just lift them. You can be the person who makes the difference.
I love that. Yeah, so let's all walk in joy. You never know who you're going to affect. And you were sitting here at the beginning of the show, and you saw, I mean, there's some there's some really terrible things that are happening. There are accidents. There are people who are angry and they're fighting and they're resorting to violence. So I think we all need to take a step back.
That's right.
And just be the joy.
And bring the joy. And just be kind.
Yeah.
Kindness touches so much.
Snowden, thank you. I told you you could talk
my
about
pleasure.
anything. You may not have even known it. She's like, I did. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
My pleasure.
All right. So coming up after the break, we have a local football team that's going to states right now. You heard?
Oh, yeah.
They're headed
It's
down
exciting.
to Miami as we speak. So Chris Will is in the house. He's been hanging out with this team all year long, and we're going to bring him in. He'll tell us a little bit about the players, about his experience today as they pulled out. We're rooting for Reigns. We'll have more on that coming up next.